Hello and welcome. Today we are talking about why I like and don't like slow release T3. So first I have to give mad props to Dr. Weston Childs. Him and I think so much alike. And to the point where it's actually kind of funny, sometimes I will listen to his podcast or watch his videos and I'll say, I just said that, or that's exactly the way that I say it. So I know he has a couple points that I agree with, a couple points that I don't when it comes to slow release T3, just based on what I have seen with my patients. So we're going to go over that. So by slow release T3, we are talking about the thyroid medication T3, not T4. So we're taking the levo and the synthroid and all of that out of it. We're talking about slow release T3. Now, slow release T3 has to be compounded. You can't go to your local pharmacy and have your doctor write a script for that. And we'll go over the hurdles with that in a moment too. So this is going to be a game changer for you. And you can probably hear the excitement in my voice. The latest introduction, the latest member of the family to the Fixxr line is Metabolism Fixxr. And this, oh my God, I formulated this just for all my people out there that need to lose weight, that need help in the weight loss department, that can't lose weight no matter what they do, that feel like they have a slow metabolism, and that might be thinking of trying all those peptides out there, you know, the Beverly Hills soccer mom drug of choice for weight loss peptides. Or even if you're on them already and you're like, man, these are really expensive and I'm still not losing weight, add in Metabolism Fixxr. Here's what I did. I took the power of T2, which increases your basal metabolic rate while you are sitting there watching Netflix. You're burning fat while you're watching Netflix. I combined it with a very unique patented ingredient called Suppressa. Suppressa has multiple clinical trials backing its efficacy in reducing your appetite, decreasing snacking, and providing way more control over your food intake. It is amazing. We also see improved emotional well-being, just decreased food cravings all around, reduced hunger, and weight management. Add on top of that, we have green tea extract, we have purple forest purple tea extract, both of which affect the metabolism in a very positive way without the jitters of normal fat burning supplements out there from the 1980s and 90s, right? The ones that made you feel like you're having a heart attack. You will not have that in any of my supplements, Thyroid Fixxr or Metabolism Fixxr. But Metabolism Fixxr, ooh, yeah, we kicked it up a notch. It is in powder form, so you can drink it through your day. It's going to flavor your water. We got orange crush and refreshing citrus. I love them both. It is going to keep you under control all day long. So you throw a couple scoops in your water bottle in the morning, throw a scoop or two in your water bottle throughout the day. You will have fat burning and appetite control the entire day for what? An eighth of a price of the peptides? Oh my God, you can't go wrong. So grab some Metabolism Fixxr today. Please let me know how you do on it. I'm super excited for you. Super excited. So compounded often has issues with the fillers in it because a compounding pharmacist has to make it. And in order to make it slow release, they have to put something in it that is slow digesting, something like cellulose. So that's going to cause the body to break it down at a slower pace as that T3 is being broken down in the gut and being released into the bloodstream. So some people will actually have an issue with the fillers themselves. And cellulose, if that is used, that can actually prevent full absorption of the medication. So here we have the cellulose binding to the T3, and as the cellulose is slowly being broken down by your gastrointestinal tract, the T3 is being released into the system, but the cellulose itself can pose an issue because it might block some of that T3. So let's say you have 50 micrograms of T3. That's what we found that your body does best with and needs, but you're only getting 30 of that or even 40 of that because of the cellulose preventing the absorption of it. And that can be a really big problem because with T3, listen, the dose, a difference of 2.5 micrograms can make or break someone, especially when you start getting into the difference of 10 micrograms. That can be the difference between being optimized and getting your life back and feeling like a normal human being and not. So that is a big one right there. The other problem is if you do need a higher dose of T3, slow release T3, because it's not being properly absorbed, is your doctor actually going to write for that? Is your doctor actually going to understand? And hopefully, because the doctor who would have to agree to write for compounded slow release T3 would have to be an out of the box thinker anyways. But if you go back to said doctor and say, hey, now I'm on 50 micrograms of this slow release, and I was on 50 of the normal, regular, old, run-of-the-mill T3, leothyronine. And yeah, we were breaking that up, and we switched to slow release, and now I'm crashing. So 50, I might need more. Will you write for a higher dose if not all of the 50 micrograms is being absorbed? Good luck getting that, because doctors are already kind of iffy about writing for a higher dose of T3. If you need a higher dose based on non-absorption or absorption issues, that could pose a problem in you actually being able to get it. And then if you have gut issues, who doesn't? These days, most of us have some type of GI issues. And it doesn't have to be a diagnosis. It doesn't have to be SIBO or celiac or H. pylori. It could just be that your digestion sucks because you've been eating horrible foods and you have inflammation in the gut and you have heartburn and you're popping pepsids left and right like my dad does. We're working on that as we speak with Designs for Health Gastromed and digestive enzymes, and it's actually working. So heartburn, bloating, constipation. If you're having gut issues already, then you may have trouble breaking down the cellulose that actually makes it sustained release. So you might not even break down that cellulose. And then we don't even know what happens. Does it just sit there? Do you eventually get the full dose? Do you not get the full dose? We don't know. By the way, this is in the column of why I don't like it, if you haven't guessed that yet. You can't control the dose or you can't control when you get that woohoo dose of T3. So if you're taking the sustained release, you take it once a day. You know that for those of you on T3, lucky enough to be on T3, you kind of get that, especially in the beginning. You get that nice burst of energy. That, whoo, okay, I feel good. And then you take your next dose in the afternoon, whoo, I feel good. And then maybe you're taking multi-doses like 3 times a day and you get that, oh, okay, I got this. I got life for the next few hours here right now. You don't get that woohoo dose and that woohoo feeling of T3 when you're on the sustained release, because you're just taking it once and then you're just you're waiting for it to kick in, hoping that you feel better, crossing your fingers that it's getting absorbed, crossing your fingers that it's getting broken down. So that's a downside. Often you have to remember too, we use circadian dosing to raise low cortisol, and we can't do that with slow release. So when a patient is like really low cortisol, especially in the morning and in the first part of the day, we can use the T3 during those times. Sometimes even before they actually get out of bed, we can dose it then, like at 4 or 5 a.m., just to start pushing that cortisol up a little bit to get them into a better pattern. We can't really do this with slow release because it's being slowly released throughout the day. Another part of why I don't like it is good luck getting your doctor to write for it. Like I said earlier, you're going to need a compounding pharmacy, so you're going to need a physician that works with a compounding pharmacy. No, I mean, that's not that hard to find. Most major cities have compounding pharmacies, and some physicians are open to writing for that. But then you also have to have that physician being open to writing for a higher dose if you're not absorbing it. So keep that in mind too. So, all right, here's maybe some pros. See, I'm more on the fence than Dr. Childs. I'm more on the let's just figure this out and get you on multi-doses of regular T3, because there's too many cons for me with the slow release, and just even compounded T3 in general. I have consistently seen patients do poorly on that. And there's been, I mean, literally maybe one patient that I've had that did okay on compounded. All the other ones that came to me that were trying compounded before, or that came to me feeling like garbage because they were on compounded, not super much of a fan of compounded thyroid medication. Now, compounded hormones, totally different story. Compounded thyroid medication, meh. So maybe some pros. If you can't even tolerate 2.5 to 5 micrograms at once, then this slow release may allow for more tolerability. And again, this is few and far between. Do I have some patients that can't tolerate 2.5? Yes, and it's very case dependent. Again, if it's because you have low cortisol, then you got to suck it up. You got to take it. We got to get that. If you have low T3 and low cortisol, you got to take it. And we're going to have to multi-dose you. And slow release is not going to cut it in that case. Even if you're getting a little bit jittery, 2.55, oh well, it'll pass. It will pass. It's not harmful. It's just it's something that happens, and you're going to be okay. If you're at the point where we've tried, and it's not working, then maybe we do try slow release T3 with you for more tolerability. Another pro is that you don't have to remember the second or third dose. But to that I say, then again, why not remember if it's going to change your life? Set a timer. So yeah, I know we're busy. We're all busy. And yeah, sometimes we forget to take that second. I never forget to take my second. I want to say once in like the last 5 years have I forgotten to take my second dose of T3. But you know what? In the beginning, set a timer and just get used to it, because this is something that's going to change your life. So maybe it's a little inconvenient, but that's too bad, because it's going to change your life and give you your life back. So just set the timer for the second and third dose. I promise you'll get used to it. Some say it's easier because you don't have to schedule food and supplements around it. And again, I say suck it up and figure it out. If it means it changes your life, and set a timer. So yeah, if you're having trouble figuring out when you're going to take your iron, it has to be 4 hours away. And then when are you going to take this? And when are you going to take that? T3 is not as sensitive to supplements and food. Can you get away with a half an hour? Yes. I wouldn't do that in the beginning when I was getting optimized. I would wait that full hour, but it's an hour. It's an hour on either side. And then yes, it is technically 4 hours away from like iron, calcium. If you're taking calcium, you probably shouldn't anyways. Hopefully you're not taking Tums or Pepsid, that we even have to worry about that, because we have your gut regulated and optimized. But everything is figure outable. So if it means that you will slowly become optimized in your thyroid and actually get your life back and have energy and have metabolism through the day, because it's a little bit inconvenient for you to schedule your supplements and food around your thyroid medication, so be it. What's the alternative? Feeling like garbage and being able to eat as much as you want and take your supplements whenever you want and cross your fingers and hope that that's enough? No, we have to optimize your thyroid. And sometimes that means a little bit of inconvenience in there. So see, I got an argument to these pros. Last one is if you get super high blood pressure when you're taking your vitals. So people who are taking their vitals and they get a huge spike in their blood pressure post T3 dosing, then the slow release T3 might be beneficial for you, because you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the woohoo dose, and that woohoo dose will not push up your blood pressure into a super physiological high range. I don't mean just a little bit higher. I mean high, like you're getting headaches. You can feel like your pulse in your brain. That is an issue. That's too high blood pressure. And for that, we might use slow release T3. But other than that, I think you can see where I stand. I kind of am in preference of double dosing or multi-dosing your T3 and figuring it out from there. The other nice thing about that is that we can change your dose with each dose. So we can, give you, let's say 10 micrograms in the morning, and then another If you can't tolerate 10 and 10, we can go 10 and then 5 and then 5 here. And we can change it based on your energy. And when you tank, we can even, we can load the afternoon. If you're like, I'm really good in the morning, but then in the afternoon, that's when I tank. Well, then that could be your higher dose. So if you're on 25, we can go 10, 15. We can do so much more with cytomel and liothyronine than with compounded slow release T3. So that is my take on it. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, share it and ask me questions. Thank you so much for listening to the Thyroid Fix podcast. As always, please share this with anyone that you know that needs this information. And I guarantee you there's a lot of people out there and in your life who do. And if you would please take a moment to write a review on Apple Podcasts, that would be much appreciated. I read all of them. Also, please remember that anything that you hear on this podcast is not intended to diagnose or treat. So you always want to check with your doctor about any advice given that you hear on this podcast. And if you would like to book a discovery call, a free discovery call to go over everything that's going on with you and to go over how I can help you, please go to my website at amiehornaman.com. The link is always in the show notes. And click on book a call. Choose a time and a day that's right for you. And we will see how we can help you. Thanks for listening.